on the aero package. I think that's, I don't even think that matters. I went to Antioch with an 8-inch spoiler, and we raced on a hammer-down racetrack. It's all about setup, dude, honestly. The track we race on here, we never race on a lockdown racetrack, and, when we do, we're still capable of running because the tracks aren't big enough. So, I mean, in all reality, you're talking about Northwest Racing. I went and bought a 525 in the off season because it was affordable for what I could, I could still race at a high level and not have motor issues and
take it everywhere.
Be able to afford gas, and not burn up tires every race. So it was just a win-win.
Absolutely. So basically he's saying, like I said, you take an open motor versus a crate at Eldora, open motor's going to win.
So here's the thing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
but it's different, though. Back east is different. You're on soft tires. The shock programs are different. There's a lot of different variables you put into consideration when you compare a big motor to a crate motor when you start moving east.
Right. So what I was saying was you take that stuff back there on a big track. Yes, those open motors versus the crate motors, it's going to make a huge difference. You bring them out to a track, let's say a track like the size of Willamette Speedway in August when it's 100 degrees outside and you're only going to put so much power on the ground. It's not, the CT25 isn't going to get blown out. You guys have proven that.
Oh, no way. You don't get as much tire spin. You're able to hook up the power to the ground. You're able to utilize your shocks and spring packages a little bit more because everything slows down. It makes the car a lot better. I know when I put a crate motor in my car last year from the 800 horsepower to the 604, it was a huge difference in the way the car reacted.
And I'm going to agree with you, and I'll say the prime example of what you just said, talking about the 800, the horsepower versus the open motor versus the crate motor. Look at the performance that was. We talk about Trent Elliott. Look at what he did when he took the power away and you put a crate motor under him. Look at how much better he got immediately.
Oh, absolutely. Some people. Trent's a good driver. He's one of my good buddies. This isn't it. You saying that isn't saying that he wasn't fast already because he was, and he's got a new car, but. It's a proven fact to a lot of guys that have big motors that can't always hook it up, and you put a crate motor in it, and it slows everything down, and you don't have to be so smooth, and you don't have to go through certain obstacles to try to get traction because the traction's already there. It's not just slowing down the tire speed; it's slowing down everything. Your drive line, how much it spins, how fast it spins, your hubs, everything.
Right.
So, Joey, just for the sake of argument, then why was it that two of the guys known for the biggest motors at Willamette Speedway, Trevor Glasser and Rob Mayo, used to dominate the season compared to guys that didn't have that 900-horse, 1,000-horse motor?
Well, to be honest with you, the new generation of drivers have changed, and we're getting setups changed. Everything changes with time. Back when Rob and Trevor were dominating, people, the young guns were still young enough where they didn't know setup. Now you're getting the new breeds of, Colin, myself, Brian, Trent, Bryson, all these young guys. But we're all knowledgeable. We want to learn. We want to do this stuff. We want to race at a high level. We can't afford to go out and spend $50,000 on a new car or an XR1. So we learn and we read and we do stuff to try to better our programs, and it comes down to setup. Nowadays, it's setup. Back in the day, Rob and Trevor were in Russ, and Darren were like on a level where you couldn't touch them. Nowadays, everything's a little more equaled out. There's a lot more aggressiveness driving. We've got shock packages that work for different cars, and like you were saying, Joel, it's just times change, things change.
Fair enough.
And what he says holds a lot of truth. And here's the biggest thing.
Not to be biased or talk myself up or talk any of the young guys up, but there's a different breed of racers and it breeds different competition.
And exactly. And what you said, the biggest thing, again, that we're going back to what we mentioned earlier is, and I'll answer part of that question for you, Joel. The reason why Trevor and Rob and
Hello?
You there?
I think I lost you guys.
No, you're still here, Joey. Corey can't learn how to talk into the microphone.
I've got my headset on. So here's the thing. Going back at that time when you asked that question about Glacier and Maya dominating, Those guys were so far ahead in the shock game than everybody else. That's why they had the biggest advantage. That's truly why.
Absolutely. Well, I can tell you right now, when I started getting faster in a dirt late model, it's because of Trevor and Russ. They were the first ones on bumps on the right front. They're the first ones that got all this stuff down to where they could rotate in the slick and keep their cars pinned. And I went to work, and I went to school. Took everything I learned from pavement and brought it to dirt. And, those guys made me better.
There's so many variables in this discussion, but I agree with a lot of what Joey says.
I do too. I mean, Chris Fisby's chiming in right now saying, ask Tanner about the cost difference between open versus crate. I mean, we all know that Joey...
not even in the ballpark.
See?
Not even close.
Yeah. You can buy... Okay, and I'm not... You take them open motors, what guys are spending on them, and you can buy 4 to 5 of these 525s.
It's Corey's mic broke because I can't hear him. I can hear you, Joel.
So what I'm saying, Joey, is if you take those open motors, you take one of them, and you can buy 4 to 5 of what you guys are running with those 525s.
Well, used, yeah.
But that's what I'm saying.
But not you can buy 3 of them brand new for the price of a.
So you can buy
three
brand new 525s versus one open motor. That's
but I mean, it's just the people that are running 525 are myself and Colin and Brian and Trent. We're running them for cost effectiveness. We're not running them to try to get an argument out of people or to try to compare and contrast or anything. We're doing it because strictly this is in our budget.
Right, but look at the performance.
If we had it our way, we'd have a big motor. I mean, honestly, if I had it my way, if I had a lot of money, I would probably have a big motor.
Okay, so now let me ask you a question. Say you make the switch from the little motor to the big motor, and you go from running first and second to fourth and fifth. Are you going to keep that big motor?
Well, if I don't have the 525, yeah, I'm going to keep it and just try to tune it down. I mean, like I said, there's certain things you can do to a car to make it work, given the motor that you're running. I mean,
I know it sounds.
It's just,
it really sounds like,
but it really does help a lot to have a little bit less horsepower on a slick track. It really does.
Absolutely. I guess that's my whole point.
Well, exactly. Your throttle range.
100% agree with you there. You're the spin your tires with a big motor. It's hard to hook up unless you got a perfect race car and a perfect racetrack. With a crate motor, you can you have a little more forgiveness. You do.
There are so many questions coming in on the Swear Trucking chat line. How often do you need to rebuild opens versus crates? What about a 604 in the mod class? Cushion versus no cushion? There's so many. This line just lit up.
Because it's a great discussion because it's been discussed all year about the 525s with our 10-inch spoilers, which, I think honestly the 525s deserve a 10-inch spoiler because we're down 300, 400 horsepower. And on a lockdown racetrack, we can't really hang. I mean, we can hang because we drive them hard, but I mean, in all reality, they're not meant to run on hammer down racetracks.
So here's a question for you, Joey, that was sent in by our friend listener Wes Sayre. He says, "Will a 604 crate and a 525 compete at Bakersfield coming up?"
You'll see next week.
I saw it last year, and I'm telling you right now, yes, they will. They will compete. Well, the 525.
I think we're going to be good.
I do too.
I think me and Colin are going to be good.
I'm not going to argue that. I don't doubt that because especially on night number 2, those 525s are going to be right there with those big nasty open motors. Night 1,
we hope so.
Night 1 is that there's the argument. Night 1, the track's going to be a little more hooked up. It's going to have a little bit more of a cushion.
Yeah, but see, that's where I went there 2 years ago the first night, and everybody said it was going to be hammered down, and it was slick. And then I watched video of last year when Shank got second, and it wasn't really hammered down the first night.
But I'm talking comparatively speaking, night 1 to night 2. Typically, night 1's got a lot more cushion. That's tradition. That at that race we see a lot more speed in the track on night 1. Night number 2, you saw it. It's slicker than snot.
Oh, it's a tire eater. It's a tire eater for sure.
Yes. It's crazy how much that track changes. Will the 525 be competitive at Bakersfield? Wes, I am going to say yes, and I think Joey will agree.
Yeah, I would honestly, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but if me and Colin don't get a top 3, it's going to be a very disappointing weekend for both of us. I know we both are going there with a lot of high hopes and enthusiasm for the year we've had, me and him running together at Lebanon and Cottage Grove and Banks. We've been good, so we're going there with high expectations, that's for sure.
Well, and there's a lot, and this is the bad part. This is the bad part, given what you guys have done there in the last couple of years that you've been going to that race. You have set high expectations for yourselves, because we get messages almost every day here at Moxie Media Promotions on our Facebook page, on our phones. Every day, people are asking about who's coming. Is Tanner coming? Is Maya coming? Is Weinbarger coming? Every single day, we get somebody from that area getting a hold of us to find out who's coming. And you guys have set an expectation of competition that these guys know when you show up, there's no friends out there for you. Don't think you're going down there to make friends. These guys, they know what they're up against.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Colin and I both got a lot of friends in California with Clay and, a lot of modified drivers with Colin, and I'm friends with Orbitello and Bobby.
Right.
But, it's for me, Colin's been faster every time he's gone there. For me, I really sucked last time I went there, so I really have a lot to make up for.
And then
judging by the last time I went there, I mean, give or take his first time there, it's not an excuse. That was not good.
You were a lot better on day 2 than you were day 1.
Yeah, after I overhauled the car, but we're going to go there with a good setup this time.
Here's what I want to see, and it's just something I'm going to really watch while we're down there too, is that modified division, because Gray Ferrando showed up and won his heat race last year. He locked himself into the main quick.
He got better.
He did.
He's got a lot better. He's gotten a lot better. He's going to be good, and we're towing together, and we've been working together all year, and he's been getting really fast, and it's just impressive. I went to Banks with him last weekend, and the way he wheeled the car on the top at Banks was very impressive, and his throttle control has got so good over the year. He's getting more and more competitive and getting more dangerous.
Hang on.
He said more dangerous.
Did you just say Gray Ferrando wheeled the top at Banks?
Yeah, he did.
How in the heck do you wheel the top at Banks? Because the top's like the middle at every other racetrack. You have to run the inside groove.
No, he was up against the fence. I saw Colin do it in the 4th of July there. It was a great race. But
everybody
I've
talked
only
about
seen
that.
I've only seen a top there maybe 2 times in my entire life. And it just happened to be when the modifieds are there.
Man.
Here's what I am excited about when now that we're talking about nationals, this whole discussion kind of morphed over to a different avenue here, but for the first time in the 5 years that Moxie Media has been going down to call this race, it's the first time we're going to see Oregon represented with late models, modifieds, and sport mods.
Yeah,
we've got 2 sport mods going. Nice. 2 sport mods going. Chris Frisbee's going to be there, and Lauren Cruzy.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm. That's going to be fun.
We're going to have another late model.
I heard Lauren's going.
Yep, and then Shank actually changed his mind. He's not going, but we've got another late model going in the form of Todd Sieg in the 51 car. He's heading down there with Lauren.
Oh, good.
So we're going to have a good field of Oregon cars, and we've got a lot of guys going down to represent the state. It'll be fun to see what happens. It's a great rivalry. These guys love it when we come down and race with them. I know you guys look forward to going down to this big show. It's always a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, dude. This is, Bakersfield is, it's kind of a long drive, but it's the last race of the year. There's nowhere else to go, and it's a fun trip. Hopefully the racing will be good, and hopefully we can all have fun and, put on a show.
No doubt. It's going to be a great deal, and I'm looking forward to getting down there with you guys. And the pit areas before and after the race is always a good time, and I'm sure nothing will be different this year.
Oh, yeah, dude. It's going to be a lot of fun, especially Friday night, because we're going to come back home Saturday night after the races, but Friday night we'll let her hang out with the Cali boys.
That's right. These guys don't know what to expect. They don't know what to expect, Joey. They're rookies coming in this game, and veterans like us get down there, and they're going to say, wait a second, we didn't know it was going to be like this. It's gonna be fun. So let's just say that you're gonna hear a lot of you're gonna hear that noise a lot.
Absolutely.
It's gonna be a good time. Joey, I want to say thanks for calling in, man. It's always good to talk with you and have a discussion with race cars and racing, and keep listening to us here on Northwest Dirt News. We appreciate you, bud.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Take care. I love the opinions. I love the opinions on the discussion versus, and it's a never-ending, debate.
This could go on for a couple days.
It could go on for centuries. There's always going to be the haters of the crates and the, if you want to call them crates, and then the open guys. There's guys that absolutely will not put a crate motor anywhere near their shop, let alone in their car.